choices in this draft. Catch it next, brought to you by Smart, the official tournament telco partner of the MPL. Free to game great with Smart. Free games for all. Pasok na tayo dito sa draft. Benedetta agad ang unang ban ng Aura PH.
Mahirap talaga kalaban yung Benedetta kanina.
Your team is banning.
Pa siya buong game. Hindi, di ba? It was just how you play it. Especially sa player na tulad ni Carl TZ na napaka-taas nung mechanics niya, yung skill cap nung kamay niya, yung galaw ng kamay niya talagang napakabilis. Dahil nga din, because of his young age, God hands. Wow, ayos it really is very warranted. Now, that's also a reason kung bakit, alam mo yun, kung bakit sobrang successful niya sa mga hero tulad ng Lancelot is dahil nga doon.
Yeah, and high mechanical ceiling on a talented player
Your
like Carl
team
TZ
is
is something that we would want to see almost every game dahil dito natin makikita kung gaano ba matetest ang limits ng isang hero. Dahil when we talk about mechanical ceiling of heroes, doon natin ma-review yung, kumbaga, yung limits dahil minsan magugulat ka, pwede pala yun? Nagagawa pala yung ganun. At makikita mo yun galing sa mga talentadong player na katulad ni Carl TZ. Pero pasok ulit tayo dito sa ating mga sunod na bans from Aura PH. Looks like it's gonna be the Paquito for their second ban. Meanwhile, for BREN Esports, they're taking out the Natalia plus the Yisun Shin.
Gusto ko yung pagtanggal si Yisun Shin kasi comfort pick din yan. Isa sa mga comfort pick from before ni JP. Lord Hades can play this hero as well very well. So, I understand this, and again, control na din yon yung vision. Tanggal vision, it's ganyan talaga maglaro ang BREN Esports.
And vision is very important in this game. Knowing where your enemy is, knowing where to strike, and knowing the timing is always key to a good victory. And for BREN Esports, as you said, playing around vision already scored them a world championship. And not just a world championship, huwag natin kalimutan, medyo nasasapawan. Also a national championship from last season.
Exactly.
Now that Aura PH is done banning their first 3 heroes here with Selena as their last ban, they're gonna have to look at, I think Aura PH still has the priority pick this time around. Game 1, it was BREN Esports. Now, Aura PH, meron na silang chance na kumuha ng isang power pick that could score them a victory in Game 2.
Again, we're still looking for Sylvana kasi isa dito sa mga hero na pag nakuha talaga ng BREN Esports, ang ganda ng performance for most part. Kahit matalo, kahit sa mga games na natalo sila, the Sylvana actually does perform very well. Especially right now na mas may konting late game scaling na dinagdag kay Sylvana kumpara dati. Mas naging viable siya for players tulad ni Flap TZ. Sorry, ni Few.
Yeah, and for BREN Esports, getting that Sylvana in Game 1, hindi man natin nakita na sobrang impactful nung early game. Nakita natin na hindi siya nag-fall off. Because usually the problem with Sylvana na nakita natin from past few games, pagdating ng late game, medyo tagahuli na lang talaga siya ng kalaban. And speaking of the Sylvana, eto na, dumating na for BREN Esports in response of the Jawhead of Aura PH.
Again, Aura, maganda din naman yung ginagawa nila JP on the Jawhead kanina. He was playing very well in controlling the mid game. And same picks? Rematch ba ito?
Rematch lang. Sige, may Alice na naman tayo dito. Most likely, mapupunta sa kamay ni Ribo. And tingnan natin kung ano ba yung magiging last 2 picks dito ng Aura PH. Dahil Aura PH, they need to draft carefully. Nakita natin kanina, nabanggit mo na rin, Rockhart, that they need to adjust their late game-centric draft for them to be able to match BREN Esports na katulad na pinakita nila ng Game 1. So Aura PH, ano kaya ang magiging sunod nilang dalawang pick dito? It's gonna be very important dahil banning phase na naman after ng next pick ng BREN Esports.
Expect mo magiging mas agresibo yung magiging pick nila ngayon. And old school. There you go, aggressive. Maapoy, mainit.
Ito na, the Inferno and the Searing Torrents. Kumbaga, talagang maapoy-apoy sila dito. Si Jawhead din, may apoy-apoy dito.
Talaga, no?
Aura Fire talaga. Pero na-open si Brody. Medyo delikado to.
Okay, so madaming umaayaw kay Brody lately dahil nga sa mga changes sa kanya nung nakaraang patch. Pero kung isipin mo, may bawas pa rin talaga eh. Lahat pa rin bawas eh. Yung defensive item nerf lang yung nakita natin na medyo malaking bagay. Pero kung team ka tulad ng BREN Esports na kaya mo namang gamitan ng micro,
your team is banning.
Pwede ka mag-risk, pwede ka mag-pick ng mga glass cannon heroes at kaya mo pa rin magwagi. So, good pick from BREN Esports dito.
Yeah, and BREN Esports focusing on a range, or on, I guess, range once again. Brody nabanggit mo na nga, glass cannon, which means malambot siya pero napakasakit niya. And that range actually helps him to stay safe as well. And looking at Aura PH, I do think that they have the ability to enter that backline, especially with the Thams and the Jawhead. And for BREN Esports, nasabi mo naman na, they just need to position well against those heroes because Aura PH, they already have the tools to enter the backline.
Yes, mas maganda yung early game ngayon ng Aura PH.
Your
Ngayon,
team
yung BREN
is
Esports,
banning.
gets ko yung ban sa Roger kasi kung mid-game to early game ang focus mo, si Roger na ang pipiliin mo. Sa late game, hindi siya masyadong malakas. Lalo pag napigilan yung farm. Pero sa early game talaga, like and pounce. Nakakatakot. Maganda ba clean up?
Yeah, clean up. Buti nabanggit mo yung clean up. Pag pumasok ang isang Roger ng saktong-sakto in a fight and nakakuha agad siya ng first kill niya, expect mo na tuloy-tuloy na yun. Pero, Rock, medyo confused ako dito. Bakit nagkaroon ng Digiban from Aura PH?
Surprisingly, ito dapat yung mga hero na binaban ng BREN Esports usually. Alam mo nakaraan, parang medyo may konting ban
Your
sila sa
team
Digi.
is banning.
Public na public naman ng BREN Esports na ayaw nila sa Digi. Pero in this situation, siguro, hindi sila masyadong kabado. Kasi wala namang malaking AoE crowd control itong Aura PH. So, yung Aura PH naman, baka kasi may ibang plano yung BREN. Sabi nga natin, di ba, priority ng BREN, vision. Di ba? Tanggal vision at kuha ng map control. Digi can also do that with the bombs, di ba?
Yeah. And nabanggit mo na, map control and ano yung isang nabanggit mo, sorry, mate?
Yun, and vision.
Map control and vision. Map control and vision gives objectives as well for BREN Esports. And this is very important to take note because BREN Esports as a team, you said that they play with vision. They play with map control.
Wow.
When you play with the waves, you get priority over these objectives. Kaya kanina nung Game 1, nakita talaga natin ng BREN Esports taking turtle after turtle after turtle up to a point na lumamang sila na nakuha na rin nila ang buffs ng Aura PH. Tingnan natin kung mangyayari ba ulit yun in Game 2. Tapos na ang second banning phase natin with the Angela and Diggy being banned by Aura PH. And for BREN Esports, they take away the Roger and the Ling.
High-level mind games, ha? Kasi yung Angela, hindi mo na-expect na magpababan pa yan, eh. Kasi kung titira mo yung lineup nila, expect mo na si Rebo mag-aalis na agad. Pero sabi nila, pwede palang mag-switch si Flaptizi ng alis, no? They have very talented players and aware ang Aura PH na kaya nilang gawin yon. So they ban out the Alice and as well as the Ling, comfort pick for JP, also usable by Lord Hades.
Yeah, and Esmeralda will be the fourth pick for BREN Esports. Generally, a powerful pick against every lineup. Ito yung tipo na basta may kadikit, masakit. And ayaw mong madikitan ng isang Esmeralda. But sometimes, wala ka talagang choice, especially if maganda ang pasok with the Star Moon Ultimate.
Yes, exactly. So, madikit, masakit pag dumikit. Kaya huwag kang kakabit.
Yeah, I like the rhymes, father. I like the rhymes.
That's Esmeralda. And yes, Falling Star Moon, very scary when used properly. Nakita natin yung kanina. In fairness, nakita natin yung kanina. Maganda din yung laban ng Esmeralda. Again, that game 1 was not supposed to end that way. Pero it did. So we're up to game 2. Nagsabay sila. Granger and Lunox. Ayan na. Aggression. Early game aggression pa lang. With the Granger, with the Lunox.
Granger danger for Aura PH. And sinabayan pa nga ng Lunox. Ito, gustong-gusto ko yung scene na yun. Nakita natin, nag-appear ang mga Aura PH. Ito na yung mental reset na sinasabi mo. Confidence. Oo, nakakalungkot yung nangyari ng Game 1. Oo, natalo tayo pero hindi pa tapos ang laban. Best of 3 to. Subukan nating manalo in Game 2. And let's try to extend the series. But for BREN Esports, tignan natin kung ano ba magiging last pick nila. Dahil so far, so good naman ang kanilang mga picks. They have the range, they have the damage, and they have the frontline engage as well. At ito na yon, dinagdagan ng sustain.
May mga panggulat picks na ganito talaga yung BREN, no?
nga.
Rafaela biglang papasok sa ganitong lineup. Who would have thought it? Pero there's a lot of magic damage all around. Halos lahat yan magic damage except for the Brody. Ngayon, that's something that you can easily itemize against, but at the same time, sa early game, masakit ito. So, pasakit na tayo sa early game and can the Brody scale? Ang tanong sa BREN Esports. Sa Aura naman, kaya nilang makahanap ng mga sitwasyon na magagamit nila yung mga skills ng heroes nila to burst someone down because they have a lot of burst.
Yeah, and very situational yung burst na yon. They need to make sure that when they do play around those situations, tama ang timing nila. Timing is key for Aura PH and kalaban nila ang oras dito dahil kailangan nilang manalo in Game 2 to extend the series and potentially go for the reverse sweep. But of course, MPL Philippines Season 7 is under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board. Pasok na tayo dito sa Land of Dawn for Game 2 of Aura PH versus BREN Esports kung saan lamang na ng isang laro ang BREN Esports.
Yan, early game with the Jawhead. Syempre naman, bakit ka hindi manggugulo kung meron kang ejector sa labanan. So BREN Esports, kuha pa rin nila yung purple buff. Oh, look at this, Greed.
Medyo sneaky dito din si
Gulat
JP.
ako dun,
Alam mo yung feeling ko, nag-long cut siya. Hindi siya shortcut eh.
Long
Long cut.
long
Pumunta
cut.
siya doon. Nag-long cut siya. Manggugulo dito. Nanakot pa with the dash. Pero na-stun dito si Greed. Greed might be in trouble. Few. Spiral Strangling might be a kill. Pero hindi pala abot dito ang abilities ni Lusty. Kung medyo nakalapit si Lusty doon, feeling ko could have been a kill for BREN Esports. Pero hindi pa rin tapos. JP,
Hindi pa tapos.
gustong manggulo. And that's why you want a Joed in your team.
That's right, the Jawhead, magandang early game reset. Pwede kang magulo, pwedeng guluhin yung timing mo sa jungle. Kasi sa jungle, di ba may timing yan?
Oo,
Kung kailan nag-i-spawn yung mga jungle camps, gusto mong patayin para maalaman mo yung timer.
Pero
Dito
wait
naman,
lang, Lord Hades, Flap Teasy though, a little bit too tanky
Little bit.
with that Esmeralda. Pero ako yung kinakabahan para kay Flap eh.
Oo. Sa totoo lang, Granger is actually medyo mababa. Actually, walang win rate. Diba? Wala pang napapanalong game si Granger. Una siyang ginamit sa Season 7 with Carl TZ. And yun yung sa Game 3 nila. And hindi din nag-succeed. So, Game 2. Diba? So, it was not a fun pick. Let's see if Aura can make it work. Kasi sa ibang region, ginagamit talaga ang Granger na. Diba? May mga lineup na pwede ka mag-Granger. Ang tanong, isa kaya ito sa mga lineup na pwede mong gamitan nun?
Yeah, and apart from the lineup, I feel like it's also based on the power spike of the said lineup. Kung sabay-sabay bang lalabas ang power spike, kung kaya nyo bang patulan on certain occasions. And speaking of certain occasions, this just might be it. First turtle of the game, co-contest dito, both teams, Aura PH in a good position to take it down. But Kilowash here, hindi papasok ang Alice and Rebo is still fairly healthy. Pero babagsak na with a searing torrent. Beautiful play coming in from Duvalier. At tuloy-tuloy lang dito, babagsak na ang Sylvana after the Tamus getting it. At pero ang Esmeralda may resback pala, 4v1 dito, and that's the Esmeralda going down. Aura PH, beautiful play. The turtle plus 3 kills.
Yep. May mini audition na naganap. And I have to say na hindi maganda yung layering na ginawa ng pagpasok ng BREN Esports doon sa laban na yun. And dahil doon, again, 3-1 agad and nakakuha na agad ng advantage. Raptors na agad yung Granger.
Yeah, pero falling star moon dito from Flap TZ. Pero hindi naman pala masyado masasaktan dito si Lord Hades. Pero going back to your point, Rock, that was a little bit too aggressive coming in from BREN. Hindi nila naasikaso kung paano mga pasok nila. As you said, holy baptism though, locked in si JP. Walang takas-takas with Imperial Justice and that's 1 kill going to BREN Esports.
There you go, nabawi naman nila. And if you're Aura, huwag kang gagawa ng mga ganung pagkakamali. Kasi konting opening lang ibigay mo sa BREN Esports. Alam mong papasok at papasok yan.
Yeah,
so, gotta be careful.
And speaking of being careful, BREN Esports, I feel like they're more careful now even if they won Game 1. And I gotta hand it to them. Aura PH, they seem not bothered at all from that loss in Game 1.
Actually, mas mukha nga silang gigil ngayon, di ba? Yung Aura talagang umaapoy ngayon in this game. And they have the heroes. Meron silang lineup para gawin to. Again, Granger on with Rhapsody. Masakit na marksman kahit na early game. Gamit na gamit in this matchup.
Yeah, pero tignan natin dito, Greed a little bit slowed down coming in from Lusty, pero saktong bato lang pala yun. JP
Nice
with a good save, pero na-burn ang Vengeance Flame. Few, hindi tatama ang Cometic Lance. That could have been a kill if tumama yung stun na yun.
Again, also, you have to be aware, yung timing ng Imperial Justice, is it active right now? Check nila ngayon Turtle, it's gonna be a big one dito.
Yeah, Turtle already half HP, pero that's the ejector being burned already, pero masisecure ng Aura ang Turtle at may double kill pa para kay Granger. Magkakaubusan na ang members ng BREN Esports dito. Flap TZ medyo makunat, pero hapatulan, ipapato pabalik. That's the tower time. Flap TZ still alive, but that's the turtle. Plus 3 kills once again for Aura PH.
Beautiful placement nung Rhapsody at lang Death Sonata nitong si Lord Hades. From down, nakatakas na eh. Nahabol pa nung bala. And again, that's why you pick the Granger. And nakuha niya yung early game timing na gusto niya. Mahirap nang pigilan to.
Yeah, and for Aura PH, this is the game that they want out of this Granger. As you said, there's a 2v1 na medyo brief na dito. Grabe yung damage na nagkakala dito kay Granger. One shot na lang. Flap TZ gone! Underneath the turret, you did not respect Aura PH and you paid the price for it.
Again, Rhapsody lang. Sapat na. Ganong kasakit yung Granger na to. Lalo ngayon with the early Raptors machete. Kasi tagos-tagos yung physical damage penetration ngayon ng Granger na to. So, aside from that, also maganda yung ginagawang pag-ikot nila Kiluash at the Greed. Right on time. Hindi sila full commit. Saktong dalaw lang.
Saktong dalaw lang at kung anong kailangan, ayun lang ang ginagawa. Nakita natin doon, inuna nila yung Torre before they went down to burst the Esmeralda. Gulat na gulat ang papa mo Flap TZ doon. The damage was just too unreal. As you said, Rhapsody pa lang, sapat na. At mukhang magkakaroon ng labanan dito in the mid lane. Siring Torre, hindi tatama, pero may flicker in si JP, hindi tumama ang eject.
Naku po.
Sayang, pero mukhang wala munang kill na mapupunta, pero hindi pala. Nag-aabang ang Tabos. That's the mega kill for Lord Hades and Aura PH, dominating the early game.
Surprise mula sa aking kambal. Shoutout kay Kiluash. Ayan. Very beautifully done. You don't see a Tams do that. Hindi ginagawa ng Tams yun.
Assassin Tams.
Assassin Tams. Men, kulang na lang, Lothar. Pero legit, iba talaga ang Aura PH. So BREN Esports right now will have to come back from this very hard.
And speaking of coming back, Rebo tried to get that solo kill pero medyo tinangki niya yung Order of Brilliance dito. Galing sa Lunox. Hindi niya nirespeto yung damage. BREN Esports, I feel like it's already time to respect Aura PH.
It is, tama na.
21-16 na, tol. Medyo kailangan na natin mag-scale up. You need to take note of this Granger dahil talagang napakasakit na ng damage nito at hindi lang yon. Halos lahat ng members ng Aura PH ngayon sabay-sabay nag-power spike.
Oo, lumalaki na yung lamang. Huwag nating paabutin sa A9-4 difference.
Oo, sa A9.
A9-4 difference na yan. 13,999.
Yan ang magic number
yan ang magic
natin.
number. Pag lumamang ka ng Aura A9-4 difference,
alam mo na.
Oo.
Opo. It's the
Ilista mo na.
Oppo difference. Ibig sabihin lang nun nadala ng Oppo ang laro. Pero mukhang babalik na nga tayo dito sa Land of Dawn kung saan 10-2 ang kill score natin dito. Hindi ako nabulol. 10-2 talaga.
10-2.
8 kills ang lamang ng Aura PH sa BREN Esports. 7 minutes. Mag-8 minutes inside this game.
gigil. Ito yung gigil na Aura. Pag binigyan mo sila line-up na kayang gumalaw sa early game, gagalaw at gagalaw sila na maganda and kita natin to right now. JP, great ejector.
Yeah, flicker. Searing Torrent won't save it pero mapapatay dito si Rafaela. Carl TZ might be next. That's the Brody dealing so much damage pero kung damage lang ang usapan nandito ang ating mo Lord Hades with a double kill. Dagdaga mo pa. Might be another kill. JP though, low HP. Hindi papasok dito si Rebo pero may papasok sa likod na Lunox going in with the Chaos Ultimate. Grabe ang damage dito dong. Rebo, kaya mo bang mang 4v1?
Nakita natin to napanood natin to There you go with the dive in. Except this time around, wala palang backup. So, it was difficult for Rebo to stay alive. At ngayon, ito na. Yung scaling na sinabi ko for that Granger, halatang halata na ngayon. Ilang minutes yung Raptors machete niya? Mga 3 minutes? 4
Masyadong
minutes?
maaga.
Masyadong maaga talaga. And yung penetration na galing sa item na yon scales over to tower damage, masakit yung normal attacks mo. Skill damage, masakit yung mga Rhapsody and Death Sonata mo. And critical hits from the passive, masakit talaga. So, from here, may konting cap. Kumbaga, may konting cap yung itemization ng Granger. Kailangan mahanap ng BREN Esports yung abilidad para mapigilan o mapabagal itong larong to. Kasi pag kagat sila ng kagat sa laban na gusto ng Aura, dun sila malugi.
Yeah, and they are playing to the tempo of Aura PH right now. And speaking of tempo, dito natin makikita ang sakit ng Rhapsody ng Granger natin. We talked about the Granger danger, and this is it. The damage is real coming in from the Granger, and Lord Hades seems to be in a different form from himself from game 1. Medyo malayo, ang laki ng gap.
And again, maybe it's because of the heroes talaga, no?
Oo.
Yung ibibigay mo sa kanilang heroes is yung mag-utilize sa prowess talaga, sa skill cap na meron itong si Lord Hades. Hindi natin nakita no game 1, pero right now on game 2, damang-dama mo, and the rest of the team can actually keep up. JP, ang galing din talaga niya mag-support at this point. Unbelievable din yung control na pinapakita ni Greed. So the rest of Aura is just holding, is just steady. Hindi sila masyado maasim, they're not overcommitting, and they're choosing their fights carefully. Yun ang tama nilang gawin.
Yeah, and I have to agree, yung positioning din nila ay napakaganda. Let's look at the KDAs of Aura PH right now. 705 for Lord Hades, wala ring deaths kay Benny Cutie. And for JP and the gang, tig-iisang deaths lang. Ibig sabihin, well spread out din. Kumbaga napipitas lang dahil sa trade kill, pero hindi namamatay ng walang rason. This is very important to take note dahil kung mamamatay ka man din lang sa laro, make sure may pinaglaban ka. Make sure may rason.
Actually, I think yung balance is nahuli din ni Kiluash eh. I think yung off-lane na ginawa ni Kiluash, yung side lanes, napakahirap ding tapatan, which is the reason why sobrang free roam siya. Kahit saan siya pupunta ngayon, wala siyang katapat. Halos, kung papansin mo si Kiluash ngayon sa mapa. And the rest of the team push lang sa kabilang dulo.
Yeah, and speaking of pushing though, 3 lanes are getting pushed by Aura PH here. Top lane is already getting pushed quite heavily. There are 4 people in the mid lane, and the Lord, saktong trabaho lang dito sa bottom lane natin, and that's already 1/3 destroyed. Tuloy-tuloy na to. This is the classic 3-lane push from Aura PH. Black PZ to, dumudugo bigla and forces out the Inspire to just run away back to the turret.
Yup, and again, the Lord is going on the turret. Hindi na nilang pipigilan. Turret will go down. Top lane, busy din si Kiluash mag-isa. Almost takes down the inhibitor turret doon sa taas.
Yeah, and this is a very busy map for BREN Esports. Kailangan nilang makalculate kung saan ba dapat mag-i-invest ng mga members. That's a mega kill for the Lunox. Napakagandang eject na nanggaling dito kay JP. At mukhang Tori muna ang uunahin nila dito. Another flicker in. The damage is just too real. Lusty is next. Order of Brilliance from Benny Cutie. He just goes insane and looks like the base is next. But Rebo wants to stop it. Rebo will not stop it. That's game 2 going to Aura PH.
We have a game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Kita nyo naman, hindi nawala ang init ng Aura PH dito sa ating labanan. Tie series so far. And this is, both teams looking on form right now.
And this winning moment is brought to you by Head and Shoulders. Put your game face on and finally say goodbye to those awkward #It's a GG moments thanks to Head and Shoulders. 100% dandruff-free and itch-free. Now, mas mabango pa. And speaking of mabango, napakabango ng KDA ni Lord Hades doon.
For sure, napakabango at mapag-uusapan pa natin yun mamaya. Pero I think kailangan natin bagitin talaga yung ginagawa ni JP from main jungler, main assassin, over to a Jawhead tank support on the mid lane. His performance was just stellar. Ang daming times na nagulat ako, wow, nakapita siya ng ganun.
Yeah, and that was absolutely mental. But going back to Assassins, punta natin yung Assassin Tams.
Assassin Tams, man!
Saktong kabangers! Saktong kabangers